Welcome back for another Dokkan Beginner's Guide. Now, I know I said before I was probably going to do another Dokkan Beginner's Guide about lingo, passive skills, super attack effects, and leader skills for new players. But since the Dokkan Ultimate Class just came out, maybe some players are wondering, hey, why can't I do it? You know, why is it locked? Why do I have to be at rank 150? Okay, so the reason why you have to be above rank 150 is because the only characters you can use are ultra rares or LRs. So what this means is you can't go into this event with SSRs. So once you have your team of SSRs that you're gonna bring, which by the way you have to have a substantial amount of each type, and what I mean by that is that you have to have a good amount of super AGL, tech, int, STR, and physical units, as well as a good amount of extreme AGL, tech, int, STR, and physical units. And so what this basically does is in this event you can bring in, as you can see here, if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units in total. Now the reason why you're able to bring 7 is because you can't bring a friend unit. You have to have a sub leader. Now what a sub leader is another character that is the secondary leader skill for the team. What this basically means is what you want to have are good characters that have leader skills that are like AGL type, key 3 and 120% to stats, right? Or you want characters that maybe have a lower leader skill, such as AGL type, again 2 key and 90% to stats or whatever. And the reason is because in this mode you can only use same type characters for each boss that you fight. So say for example, as it says here, you're fighting Broly. What you want to use when you're fighting Broly is Super AGL. Why? Because Super AGL does more damage to extreme type units, and AGL does more damage to STR. So you've got to have at least 7 AGL units, and 2 of those units have to have an AGL type leader skill. Like if we just quickly pull it up here, and we try to find the 120% leaders, and what I mean by that is, let's take for example Broly. Let's click on Broly here. So Broly is one of the 120% leaders. Why? Because he gives extreme tech, 3 key, and 120% to stats. That is what we are referring to as the 120% leaders. They are the monotype leaders. So obviously there's Broly, but if we go over here to his leader skill, Fierce Battle, we pull up units that are on here. There are much more, and I apologize for the terrible quality right now. I don't know why the Dokkan Wiki is acting this way, but if we go down here, the mono type leaders are the Super Saiyan 4 AGL Vegeta. He leads AGL key 3 and 120% to HP attack and defense. Now if you're fighting Broly, you want to have him as your primary leader. Why? Because he gives 120%. Or let's say for example you've been playing for a while and you pull this Goku, and this Goku gives super class types 3 key and 120% to stats. But as you can see, even though he doesn't boost AGL specifically, he is super AGL, so you do want to use him in that stage. Why? Because not only is he boosting super class, which on the super AGL team they're all going to be super class, so they're all going to get the buff. He's AGL, he's super class, so he's going to do increased damage against Broly. So that's how you want to do this. Obviously not everyone's going to have the 120% leaders. I don't even have this Vegeta, and I've been playing for over a year now, close to maybe like a year and a half. So I mean, I have him, but I usually reserve him for other fights. So as you can tell, let's take for example Extreme AGL, you know, the counterpart, Hellfighter 17, or Fusion 17 is what I like to call him. He leads Extreme AGL 3 key, 120% to stats. But for your sub leader, you could have this Amasu who I use. He gives Extreme Class 3 key and 120% to stats. Even though he does not lead Extreme AGL like he does, he still boosts Extreme Class, which on the Extreme AGL team, they're all going to be Extreme. So that's the mindset you want to use when you're taking on the Dokkan Ultimate Clash. And so right here, obviously, it tells you exactly what I'm just explaining. But the way I'm like, the way I like to say is just to make it a little bit more simple. So each stage, if you go and watch my Dokkan Ultimate Clash video, where I take it on, you'll see that in the first fight, you're fighting Paragus. And Paragus is physical. He's extreme physical. So in that fight, even though I took an extreme strength team to fight Paragus, the smarter move would be to take a super STR team. Why? Well, if we just go down here and find SDR, wherever it may be, which is right here, this Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he leads Super SDR with 3 key and 120% to the sats. So he would be your primary leader if you were going to take on Paragus. Let's just use him for the example. And you want a sub leader. Well, maybe your sub leader is Gogeta. You know, you have him fully EZA'd, you have him fully rainbowed. Now Gogeta, with his EZA, his leader skill is all types, 3 key, and 77% to stats. So you're thinking to yourself, well, why would I bring Gogeta? Well, if you're a newer player, or maybe a moderately old player like myself, who's like playing like for a little over a year and such, and you don't have maybe, you know, him rainbowed or something like many other people would have. Like, I mean, like I do have him, but I don't have any dupes or anything in him. So, I mean, I only have him there for his leader skill. Or you might bring another leader like him. I use him for Super SDR as well. He gives Super Class 3 key and 100% to stats. So even though he does not specifically lead Super SDR, like I said before with Super AGL, all the people on that team in specific is going to be Super Class. I mean, same thing for Int. You know, I recently got this Int Super Gogeta, which beforehand I didn't have him, and my Super Int team for Dokkan Ultimate Clash was pretty weak. Guess what? Now I can have him as the primary leader. Why? Because he gives 120%. And I mean, like, this just goes on and on and on, because I have this Kid Buu. You know, he gives 120% to Extreme Int, but my Extreme Int team is pretty weak. So to help boost it, maybe you want to bring another good sub leader. Take, for example, this Buhan. We just quickly look at him and get rid of that. When he Extremes the Awakens, he gives Extreme Int 4 key and 100% to stats. That would be the sub leader, because he's given like 4 key, 100% to stats, and so he's a good boost for my team. So if you guys are still confused, I mean, just go watch my video that I took on. You'll better understand it. But essentially what Dokkan Ultimate Clash are a series of battles that you take on. So there's 3 stages. The first stage, you only fight 1 enemy before fighting the actual boss of the first stage. And on the second stage, you fight 2 enemies, and then you fight the big boss. And then on the third stage, you fight 4 enemies, and then you take on the big boss himself. So, I mean, exactly like right here, this is the second stage. You fight 2 enemies, and then you fight the actual boss, which is the guy in the middle, which in this case would be Broly. So if I squint, and I believe this is Extreme Tech, and this one is Extreme Physical. And obviously, like I just said before, you would want to take this on with Super STR. So you would make a team based off Super STR or Super Class. Like I said before, that God Vegeta, he leads Super Class, and he's STR. Maybe you don't have another STR leader, so you throw in him. Same thing for Super Int. Super Int Gogeta could be your primary leader. Or if you don't have him, you could use other leaders, maybe that give 90% to stats. Or maybe 77% to stats. It doesn't always have to be the 120% leaders, like I said before. but those are usually the best ones for this event. Why? Because they give 120%. Or you could use Zamasu, like I said before, where he boosts all extreme class, and you know, that's extremely useful here as well. So that is basically how Dokkan Ultimate Clash works. Again, like I said before, if you're still confused, go check out my video where I take it on. You'll see how each stage there's a different type, and I bring certain units to oppose the stage almost. But yeah, I mean, and in Dokkan Battlefield, you get these battlefield memory points, is what they're called. They're called battlefield memory. This is the currency that you get from just going through and completing it. I mean, there are missions. There are, I mean, as we can take a look right here, you get like dragon stones. You get obviously the battlefield memory. You get like training locations. You get more dragon stones. You get Hercule statues. You get Elder Kais from this. And with the battlefield memory, excuse me, you know, currency, you're able to buy characters, which can help you in this event. Like for example, this Super Saiyan 2 Goku and this Majin Vegeta. I think these guys lead all types. Let's just quickly look at them because I know they have the same leader skill for sure. Because they're like kind of opposites of each other. So we just take a look at him. Yeah, he leads Super Class, 3 key, and 90% to stats. And Majin Vegeta, his counterpart's obviously going to lead Extreme Class. So this is another example of what I said. If you don't have the 120% leaders, guess what? You can use this Goku for Super Class SDR. You know, for Super SDR, you don't have another SDR type leader. Guess what? You can use this guy. And vice versa. You know, if you don't have another extreme physical leader, you could take on that event with this Vegeta. And as you can see, there are lots of characters that you can get from here. You can get Metal Cooler's army. You get Oob. You could get King Cold and Mecha Frieza. You can get this Krillin, this Android 18. And this is so far only on the Japanese version, this Babidi and Deborah. As you can see here, it's only on the Japanese version. But yeah, as you can see here, down here, they're just like talking about their awakenings, you know, what exactly they do. And down here we have the history of the Ultimate Clashes. So each Ultimate Clash, there's like different types of opponents that you fight throughout it. And in the Ultimate Clash, you're able to get like specific medals for awakening characters, as you can see here. So this Ultimate Clash, it does give you good rewards. And then with these rewards, you're able to get some really good units. Like I said before, many of these characters are really good. This Krillin stacks defense, so he's good for long events. This Android 18, personally, I haven't seen her all that much, so I can't really say, but I know she's a really decent unit if you don't have her and you want to boost your Super AGL team. She's Super AGL, and this Krillin is Super Int, so if you want to boost your Super Int and your Super AGL, you can pick these guys up. If you don't have a lot of Extreme STR, you can pick up a copy of King Cold and Mecha Frieza. Though I will have to say this now, there is a lot of grinding involved with the battlefield memory, because a lot of these units are really expensive. Like this Mecha Frieza is like 1,500,000 battlefield memory points. Oob's 1,250,000. Babidi and Deborah is 1,650,000 for a copy. So if you want like to rainbow this guy, you want to get 5 copies. That's easily over like 7 million battlefield memory points. So there is grinding involved. Personally, I do think it's worth it. So anyways, guys, if you still don't understand it, please comment down below. I'll probably do a remastered version of this then, if people really don't understand it or they really don't get it. Or I might just do a video going through the actual Dokkan Ultimate Clash and really showing it. But like I said, if you're still confused by this video, go ahead, check out my video where I take on the Ultimate Clash event itself, so you guys can get a better comprehension of what it is. But the last thing I just wanted to cover before I ended the video is units that you can bring, especially if you're free to play. As you can see here, these are all units you can get. Obviously, this Zamasu Goku, we still haven't gotten his awakening yet, but this is going to be a really good unit for that, for Extreme STR. You can have a copy of him at his TUR, just in case. But you know, this Kid Broly is Extreme Extreme AGL, so already in the anniversary you have some really decent options to take on. You know, you can farm a copy of his Ultra Rare where it's only Vegeta. you know, because this one is Vegeta and Kid Raditz. So again, you could just farm up some dupes for these characters. Obviously, the Prime Battle LRs are going to be really good. I mean, as you can see here, there's a ton of free units. You know, this Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegito, it's going to be really good. You know, he leads Super Class Key 3, 70% to stats. So, I mean, it's not impossible to take on the Ultimate Clash. Personally, right now, from what I've seen, I haven't seen anyone like actually able to complete the whole thing with using only free-to-play characters. So these are only free-to-play. But as most people playing this game probably just don't have free-to-play characters, you know, it is anniversary. People are summoning, people are getting new characters. But yeah, you have to be level 150 in order to take this on. So this is just kind of like a heads-up video for you new players. You know, start grinding out some characters, especially these two. If you haven't seen my videos, go check them out. You want to get these guys done. You want to. These guys are essential for you free-to-play characters. So is this Zamasu Goku, probably the best LR, free-to-play LR in the game. But yeah, if you're a new player, you know, you can start preparing for this. You know, you can make a good Extreme SDR team. You can make a good Extreme Int team. You could start making a good Extreme AGL, you know, so on and so forth. So, I mean, that's going to be it for today's guys. And I'll see you guys in the